Welcome! Today we are looking at reproductive systems in animals. This is topic 6 in your SS3 biology series. This is a guaranteed question in your examinations. Pay close attention. Let us begin. First, let me explain what reproduction in animals is. Reproduction is the process by which animals produce new individuals. It is essential for the continuation of species. Without reproduction, species would become extinct. Reproduction can be asexual or sexual. Asexual reproduction involves one parent. It produces offspring that are genetically identical to the parent. Sexual reproduction involves two parents. It produces offspring that are genetically different from the parents. Sexual reproduction involves the fusion of gametes. Gametes are sex cells. The male gamete is the sperm. The female gamete is the egg. Fertilization is the fusion of male and female gametes. It produces a zygote. The zygote develops into an embryo. Understanding reproduction in animals is essential for understanding animal biology. Now, let me explain asexual reproduction in animals. Asexual reproduction is less common in animals. It occurs in some invertebrates. There are several types. The first is binary fission. Binary fission occurs in single-celled organisms. The organism divides into two equal halves. Examples include amoeba and paramecium. The second is budding. Budding occurs when a new individual grows from the parent. It then separates. Examples include hydra and yeast. The third is fragmentation. Fragmentation occurs when the body breaks into pieces. Each piece develops into a new individual. Examples include starfish and planaria. The fourth is parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis occurs when an egg develops without fertilization. Examples include aphids and some reptiles. Asexual reproduction is rapid. It does not require a mate. However, it reduces genetic diversity. Now let me explain sexual reproduction in animals. Sexual reproduction is the most common form of reproduction in animals. It involves the fusion of male and female gametes. Animals have specialized reproductive organs. These organs produce gametes. In males, the reproductive organs are the testes. They produce sperm. In females, the reproductive organs are the ovaries. They produce eggs. Sexual reproduction promotes genetic diversity. This is advantageous for evolution. It allows populations to adapt to changing environments. Sexual reproduction can be internal or external. Internal fertilization occurs inside the female body. External fertilization occurs outside the female body. Both types have advantages and disadvantages. Now let me explain the male reproductive system in mammals. The male reproductive system consists of several organs. The testes are the primary reproductive organs. They produce sperm and testosterone. Testosterone is the male sex hormone. The testes are located in the scrotum. The scrotum is outside the body. This keeps the testes at a lower temperature. Sperm production requires a lower temperature. The epididymis is a coiled tube. It stores and matures sperm. The vas deferens is a tube. It transports sperm from the epididymis. The seminal vesicles produce seminal fluid. Seminal fluid nourishes sperm. The prostate gland produces prostatic fluid. Prostatic fluid activates sperm. The bulbourethral glands produce lubricating fluid. The penis is the copulatory organ. It delivers sperm to the female. The urethra is a tube. It carries semen and urine. The male reproductive system produces sperm and delivers it to the female. Now, let me explain the female reproductive system in mammals. The female reproductive system consists of several organs. The ovaries are the primary reproductive organs. They produce eggs and hormones. These hormones include estrogen and progesterone. The fallopian tubes are tubes. They transport eggs from the ovaries to the uterus. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tubes. The uterus is a muscular organ. It supports the developing embryo. The endometrium is the lining of the uterus. It is shed during menstruation. The cervix is the lower part of the uterus. It connects to the vagina. The vagina is the birth canal. It receives sperm. It is also the passage for childbirth. The female reproductive system produces eggs. It supports fertilization and development. Now let me explain gametogenesis. Gametogenesis is the production of gametes. In males, it is called spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis occurs in the testes. It produces sperm. Sperm are small and motile. They have a head, midpiece, and tail. The head contains the nucleus. The midpiece contains mitochondria. The tail is used for movement. In females, gametogenesis is called oogenesis. Oogenesis occurs in the ovaries. It produces eggs. Eggs are large and non-motile. They contain nutrients for the embryo. Gametogenesis is essential for reproduction. Now, let me explain fertilization. Fertilization is the fusion of male and female gametes. It can be internal or external. Internal fertilization occurs inside the female body. It is common in terrestrial animals. Examples include mammals, birds, and reptiles. Internal fertilization requires copulation. The male deposits sperm in the female reproductive tract. Sperm travel to the egg. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tubes. External fertilization occurs outside the female body. It is common in aquatic animals. Examples include fish and amphibians. Eggs and sperm are released into the water. Fertilization occurs in the water. External fertilization requires synchronization. The eggs and sperm must be released at the same time. Fertilization is essential for sexual reproduction. Now let me explain embryonic development. After fertilization, the zygote develops into an embryo. This involves several stages. The first stage is cleavage. Cleavage is a series of mitotic divisions. It produces a ball of cells called a morula. The morula develops into a blastula. The blastula is a hollow ball of cells. The blastula develops into a gastrula. The gastrula has 3 germ layers: the ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. The ectoderm forms the skin and nervous system. The mesoderm forms the muscles and skeleton. The endoderm forms the digestive system and lungs. The embryo continues to develop. It forms organs and tissues. This is called organogenesis. The embryo develops into a fetus. The fetus continues to grow. It is eventually born. Now, let me explain types of reproduction based on embryonic development. There are 3 types: oviparity, ovoviviparity, and viviparity. Oviparity occurs when eggs are laid outside the body. The embryo develops outside the mother. Examples include birds, reptiles, and fish. Ovoviviparity occurs when eggs are retained inside the body. The embryo develops inside the mother. However, the embryo does not receive nutrition from the mother. Examples include some sharks and snakes. Viviparity occurs when the embryo develops inside the mother. The embryo receives nutrition from the mother. Examples include mammals. Viviparity provides protection and nutrition for the embryo. It increases the chances of survival. Now, let me explain the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle occurs in female primates. It prepares the body for pregnancy. The cycle lasts about 28 days. It is regulated by hormones. The first phase is the follicular phase. The follicle-stimulating hormone stimulates the development of follicles. The follicles produce estrogen. Estrogen stimulates the growth of the endometrium. The second phase is ovulation. Ovulation is the release of an egg from the ovary. It occurs around day 14. The luteinizing hormone triggers ovulation. The third phase is the luteal phase. The ruptured follicle becomes the corpus luteum. The corpus luteum produces progesterone. Progesterone maintains the endometrium. If fertilization does not occur, the corpus luteum degenerates. Progesterone levels drop. The endometrium is shed. This is menstruation. The menstrual cycle is essential for reproduction in primates. Now let me explain the hormonal control of reproduction. Reproduction is controlled by hormones. In males, testosterone is the main hormone. It is produced by the testes. Testosterone stimulates sperm production. It also stimulates the development of male secondary sexual characteristics. In females, estrogen and progesterone are the main hormones. They are produced by the ovaries. Estrogen stimulates the development of female secondary sexual characteristics. It also stimulates the growth of the endometrium. Progesterone maintains the endometrium. It prepares the uterus for pregnancy. These hormones are regulated by the hypothalamus and pituitary gland. The hypothalamus releases gonadotropin-releasing hormone. This stimulates the pituitary gland to release follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. These hormones regulate the reproductive cycle. Now, let me explain the importance of reproduction. Reproduction is important for several reasons. First, it ensures the continuation of species. Second, it increases population size. Third, it promotes genetic diversity. This is important for adaptation. Fourth, it supports evolution. Sexual reproduction is the basis of evolution. Fifth, it has economic importance. Reproduction is essential for animal husbandry. It is essential for food production. Sixth, it is important for human health. Understanding reproduction helps us address fertility issues. Reproduction is a fundamental biological process. Now, let me give you sample exam questions. Define reproduction in animals. Reproduction is the process by which animals produce new individuals. Distinguish between asexual and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction involves one parent. Sexual reproduction involves two parents. Name the parts of the male reproductive system. The parts include testes, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, prostate gland, and penis. Name the parts of the female reproductive system. The parts include ovaries, fallopian tubes, uterus, cervix, and vagina. Explain fertilization. Fertilization is the fusion of male and female gametes. Distinguish between internal and external fertilization. Internal fertilization occurs inside the female body. External fertilization occurs outside the female body. Let me summarize. Reproduction in animals can be asexual or sexual. Asexual reproduction includes binary fission, budding, fragmentation, and parthenogenesis. Sexual reproduction involves gametes. The male reproductive system produces sperm. The female reproductive system produces eggs. Gametogenesis is the production of gametes. Fertilization is the fusion of gametes. Embryonic development involves cleavage, gastrulation, and organogenesis. There are 3 types of reproduction based on embryonic development: oviparity, ovoviviparity, and viviparity. The menstrual cycle prepares the body for pregnancy. Reproduction is controlled by hormones. Reproduction is essential for survival. Practice these concepts. When you have them down, move to topic 7.